Hey everybody, welcome to my second designer unboxing. So last week or 2 weeks ago I did an unboxing of a couple of Nike shoes and explained kind of why I bought them, why I thought they were good enough designs that I wanted to bring them into my home. So I got a lot of positive response from that, so I thought I'd do a second one. This is a product that I've been wanting for a long time, but I haven't had a need to get a new bike helmet. But I've just always wanted a POC helmet. And, I think these guys kind of really changed the helmet game in a way, right? Before POC came on the scene, I felt like helmets kind of looked like, they looked like brains. They looked like an inappropriate design, really, in a lot of ways. They look like the thing they were trying to protect, and they didn't look stylish. And I think like right now in the studio we're working on a lot of medical products, and it's interesting because one of the biggest barriers to a medical product being effective, especially if it's kind of a consumer grade medical product that's used in the home, is people wanting to use it. And the same for a bike helmet. A bike helmet can't be effective if people don't wear it. Seems to make some pretty logical, common sense, but so many helmets were just so over-designed and ugly, I feel like, until this brand came along. And now there's just tons of helmets that kind of feel like this. But I wanted to kind of go back to the brand that originated it. A little surprised by the packaging. It feels a little bit cheap. I feel like for such a designed product, I expected the packaging to be a little bit elevated as a consumer, but also as a designer, I appreciate the fact that there's so much over-designed packaging. The packaging is just thrown away, and every penny that's spent on packaging is a penny taken away from the BOM of the product, right? So you got to think about that. Like if you think about like a Beats headphones, right? That the packaging is amazing on it, but all of those pennies put into the packaging are pennies that could have been put into better build quality for the product, better performance for the product. So on one hand, I'm a little bit surprised by this packaging. On the other hand, I appreciate the fact that the money hopefully is being spent on the product and not on this thing that's gonna go straight into the recycling bin. They did spend a little bit of money on some foil print there, which is nice. And then just a simple label. So obviously they have this foil print box that could be used across any product, and then they're just labeling it pretty simply. So digging in, I went with the hydrogen white. Again, packaging pretty minimal, just some simple foam pads here to protect the helmet from getting any scratches, but the cardboard itself is actually a really thin grade of corrugation, which is fine. I mean, I guess it's a helmet, so it probably doesn't need a ton of protection. And looks like we've got just a little pouch inside here. Literally just a little, I don't know, is that their logo? That's interesting. That's like the crash test dummy sign, isn't it? Little carry pouch without much branding on it. No branding really, which is fine. Don't really need it. I always wonder why products come with those things anyway. Like I don't know. I don't put my products in pouches when I'm not using it. And nothing else, no manual, nothing like that. So pretty minimal packaging, which again, I kind of appreciate. And we just have a simple kind of hang tag manual here. I really just love the simplicity of this helmet. Like to me, it's hard as a designer to be this restrained. Again, think of like the vent holes that were in helmets 10 years ago, all this crazy flowing lines. And you look at this and it's literally just, circles just punched out basically in the mold, and these kind of pill-shaped openings. One thing, I thought this little visor in the images online, I thought this was a material break, but it's just a reflective decal. I mean, it's a smart decal, it's reflective, so that's kind of nice. But I guess I was hoping that this was a secondary part And then there's a secondary decal on the back. So at least again, they're thinking a little bit about this is a commuter style helmet. So you might be riding in the early hours or in the evening. I really enjoy just the design of this bottom line of the product. Again, when you have a product that's so minimal like this, every detail matters. There's only, you could draw this product with like 4 lines maybe. And so this bottom line is a key part of the design. Digging into some of the details here, things are pretty well considered. We've got kind of just a standard helmet fit system, but it's been branded nicely. I'm not sure how much that's an off the shelf part, but there's been some nice consideration on padding on the back side of it. It's pretty standard padding on the inside. It's a pretty simple product. Not a lot going on, but what is here is pretty well considered. This is interesting. You could see, I always love trying to understand how things are fastened. Like keeping things together, parts together is always a challenge in how you do that. So it looks like, obviously I don't want to separate the foam from the shell here, but it looks like you have this strap that goes into this really nice, feels like a TPU part here. You actually could see it. It actually has some nice, simple, shallow beveling going onto it. It just feels really nice, super soft touch TPU. But I assume that is anchored into the helmet probably here. It feels like a couple of EVA blocks that is kind of like blocking in this urethane foam. So I'm just assuming that is kind of covering some kind of a fastening going on of this part. Nice kind of metal strap length adjustment here. Typically these parts are very plasticky in other helmets, and even these parts are branded, which is kind of a nice little detail. If you could see that. These kinds of things, like, it's kind of interesting as a designer. I try to put things, branding on parts like this, not so much as a consumer benefit, but if you're making things in Asia, it's good to put your branding on the parts, because then hopefully they won't sell those parts to other brands, or at least they'll have to like make a new mold or polish it out of the mold. It's a pretty subtle thing, but it's good for the business basically. And then interesting mechanism here for coming on and off. I'm kind of surprised it's not a fid lock. A lot of other helmets right now, my wife actually just got a new helmet, and all of the fasteners are magnetic fid lock fasteners, but this works pretty nicely. I mean, you could see how this just kind of clicks into place. And it does have obviously a more mechanical securedness, which is pretty nice. Yeah, and that's pretty much it in this thing. I'd assume some pretty minimal documentation here, so we just have kind of like a card telling you what it is. Obviously, it's a bicycle helmet. Not a lot going on. Some proper ways to wear it here. Proper adjustment, but I mean, these things are pretty self-explanatory. I mean, a lot of times you have to kind of provide something like this as a I mean, I'm sure in terms of like eliminating some liability, you want to make sure people use things right, or at least provide some proof that you tried to show people how to use it right. But the likelihood of people reading this, pretty low. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just some basic internal labeling going on here. It's always interesting how much, it's always interesting to see how much a brand has to put on to sell things. So you've got the CE certification here, and a few other little, small pieces. This is actually, I believe this might be a woven label. It's kind of interesting. It has a texture to it. It's not just like a decal, a paper decal that you would normally see in these things. So even just considering little things like that. And it's nice, even on their padding on the inside, they put their branding, as well as even their corporate tagline here of "and forth," which I think is kind of interesting. You don't usually see corporate taglines on things. It's pretty rare, at least. But yeah, it's nicely handled. And that's it. That's the POC Corpora helmet product that I decided to spend my own money on and bring into my life for kind of daily use, and just wanted to kind of show you guys what I liked about it, what things kind of intrigue me when I'm purchasing products and what I'm looking for, and also what I'm trying to study when I'm trying to, whenever I buy something, I'm also studying it, because there's things that I'm going to take away and put into projects that I'm doing. All right, I hope that you enjoyed this. Have a great week. As always, like and subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll talk to y'all soon.